everybody, welcome to Around the Twist, episode 237. It is February 24th, 2016, and I'm recording probably about 3 hours later than I normally do. There's very little light coming from the window. I am so sorry. So we're going to get a little housekeeping stuff done first here. Reason I'm recording late, had a bit of a snafu with Best Buy about a delivery of a new TV, and it was supposed to be done today and ended up I don't know if I misunderstood the guy at the store, he misunderstood me. I wanted delivery and installation and he only scheduled delivery, which came from a different place, and no one was going to hang this TV on our wall for us. So I had to run an errand, get that straightened out at the store this morning, and then go. As I was coming back home, they called me and said, so we were going to install it tomorrow, but our guys are free today. Can they come out now? So the last few hours have been spent upstairs with them sawing holes in my wall to run the cables through. But we got rid of the behemoth of an old, like the old tube TV, the old school TVs. It wasn't a flat screen I had upstairs. It was this giant TV that was like 3 feet deep and massive, and was about 12 years old and starting to fail on me. So hubby's happy, new TV upstairs. Babies are kind of, the twins are, I can't call them babies anymore. They're still my babies, but that's them. The twins were very confused when we let them out of their room from their nap time, which we'll talk about later. So hence I don't have full makeup on. Between running errands and lunch and everyone coming over, it's just like, I just got to get a show done. I got to get it out for you guys. So, and I know everyone's going to say, but if you're busy, you don't have to. Yes, I do. It was one of my goals that I stuck to. One of my resolutions, my knitting resolutions, was I was going to record every week. And I have so far. So here I am. You guys ready? Here we go. Grab your coffee, grab your knitting. Oh. Let's start off, another housekeeping thing. The coffee is getting down to like the last few beans in the cupboard. I ordered another 9 pounds from San Marco Coffee. It is supposedly out for delivery via UPS today, which is interesting because I thought I ordered with FedEx, but maybe it was UPS. Anyway, it's supposed to be here today. It's not here yet, so I'm carefully rationing out my coffee and not taking as much into work to share with people until the new order shows up. I didn't order any new unusual flavors, I should say this time, just my usual ones. So, okay, what's on my needles? I have several things, one of which I have to bend down to get because it evidently fell off the chair earlier. Sorry, guys. Ugh. First, in my Girl Cave bag from, get the button for you guys, girlcavebags.etsy.com. Love how she finishes off her bag. She has a pinking shears, but it's not the zigzag, it's a scallop. And I have not had any problems with, sometimes with pinking shears you can still get, as the little tabbies wear down, the little ridges wear down, you'll still get threads coming loose, and I don't get that with this bag, like, at all. So my special snowflake socks out of Gail's Art, Special Secret Sock Blank in the Special Snowflake colorway. This was from the December shipment of her club. There's what's left of my sock blank. Obviously I'm pulling from this end since it's attached. Center of this big snowflake is the center of the blank, and I'm not quite there yet, but I have started the second sock. First sock was finished last week. There you go, knitting these up on US 1s. I guess the bag is shedding right after I said it didn't shed threads, but this one has been riding in the bottom of the bag for a week. So first sock is knit up on US 1's 2.25 millimeter needle with a 72 stitch sock with a heel flap, top down, obviously, because second sock I started on Sunday while we were watching, what were we watching? One of the Marvel movies, Guardians of the Galaxy. Hadn't watched in a while, so we put it on. Got the sock cast on and a few rows of ribbing done. I was cutting it very fine on my long tail cast on. I have enough to weave in. That's about it. It's been a while since I've cut it that fine, but the noodly nature of unraveling the yarn from the blank kind of deceived my eyes as to how much I had, and I kind of stretched out, like, yeah, that'll be enough, and I was kind of fine toward the end. So I have, just today, while the guys were installing, the Geek Squad was installing the TV, I got the ribbing finished. So while I was waiting at Best Buy for them to figure everything out, and then at home while I was waiting, 20 rows of ribbing done. I think I only did, I might have done like the last 8 rows or so today. Pathetic, I know, but it's one by one rib. I'm just starting the first round of stockinette, so since Sunday, that's all that I managed to knit. Kind of sad, but that's okay. It'll come, it'll finish. It'll get done eventually. I don't know why, I'm so slow on knitting lately, and I know I've got toddlers running around, and I've got work, and work has been so crazy busy. Obviously I can't knit at work at this new place, so new place. I've been working there almost a year and a half. I still call it the new place. I wouldn't have time to, even if I wanted to. I keep habit, 10 years of taking my knitting to work. I still every morning grab my knitting bag and throw it in my purse, and I haven't touched it once, even on my breaks, since I switched to day shift. So, oh well. Second thing, in my giant cupcake bag from Stitched by Jessalou, her bags are finished really well as well, is the Yowza, or the Way It number 4, I guess I'm calling this one, and is the Yowza Way It Shawl number 4 by Susan B. Anderson. I'm knitting, let's see, oh, I do have the thing in here. The babies have gotten in and out of these bags all week, so I'm knitting it in Miss Bab's Yowza, What a Skein, in the Zombie Honeymoon colorway on a US 8, which is a 5.0 millimeter needle. Here's what it looks like. The triangle is getting bigger, not much deeper, but going off of where I left my marker, I got about almost 3 inches done. I think I was 1 garter ridge across and back away from having 3 full inches, because I figured out if I do 8 rows, so 4 garter ridges, that's roughly an inch. So I can move my little hangy thing up so I know for next week. So that's not too bad. I think I actually knit on this more than I did on the socks, just because they were ribbing and it was the start and everything was kind of fiddly and wibbly, and didn't get a chance to, or it wasn't as convenient when the twins were around, because chasing them down for various things. It was easier to set this down in the middle of a row than the magic loop as I was starting to cast on, so that's why I waited till they were down for bed and we were watching a movie. I'm not sure how much I have left on the ball. I probably should weigh it again at some point. I know last week I was at 136 grams. I must have given birth to young elephants, I swear. They just... That's what it sounds like. I don't know if you can hear the giggles. Kind of. Can you hear it? Okay, little twin story, I'm sorry. Every time we get up off the couch, Gabe will run over and sit in whatever our spot is, and he'll just start giggling like mad. And it's, hey, what are you doing? And he'll, whether it's daddy or mom, it's, they spot. My spot. And basically he steals our spot. And kind of lean, are you in my spot? And he just busts up laughing as we're coming in to get him. But it's something he consistently does, so that's several times out of my day. So there's the Way It shawl. That's it for the knitting. I do have a bit of crocheting to show you. Let me get this all tucked away. Oh, and also discovered with the twins, they're very good at working zippers all of a sudden, so I can't leave these. I used to just tuck them behind the back cushions of the couch, kind of between the couch and the wall. They can get these down and unzip them and trail yarn all over the house. That doesn't work anymore. The other thing that I'm worked on this week, I finished No, they're not fully done, obviously not starch. I finished the third snowflake number 2 for the epic long-term snowflake project. And this is snowflake 2 out of this 99 Snowflakes book that's put out by Leisure Arts. You can get it on Amazon, I know, for $9.99. These will look like that one right there once it's all starched. I still have to weave in the final end. I wove in my starting end, but not the final ends on this, so that's all the loose thread that you see in there. And I just need to do that. I just need to take the time. But what I think I might do, I know I'm only like a week out from the end of the month. I might start the March ones just because I can. Why not? Try to work ahead a little bit so I'm not only getting 12 snowflakes a year, because yeah, 99 snowflakes. I need to get more, and they get more and more elaborate. I mean, the further back you go. This is 73. Snowflake 73 over here. There's 8 rounds to it. All these first ones are like 1 round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds. That's it. And all these back ones are at least 6, sometimes more. And I know they're more open, and they're bigger and everything, but oh, and so you get all these giant ones, and then they throw in this little dinky one. Dinky one. It's still 2 inches when it's blocked out, but give you a little palette cleanser in between. And I need to get working on these, otherwise it's gonna. I know I said it's a long-term project, but now I'm like, I gotta do more. I gotta do more. I gotta do more. But then I don't know. Obviously, I'm going to have 12 done in a year, because I said I was going to do 1 set per month. So if I work ahead, do I label it for that month, and then just, if I finish them, label it like extra done, 2016. Or if I start 3 now, I'll label the bag February/March 2016. To show that I worked ahead. I'm overthinking this. Just make the snowflakes, Karen. Make the snowflakes. My OCD is taking over, and yeah. So those snowflakes are done in the Knit Crochet thread. It's a mercerized cotton that comes in these little ball put-ups. I'm using a steel size 7, which I believe is a 1.8 millimeter hook. And yeah, that's all I've done with those. I did 1 snowflake. 1 snowflake. That one, for some reason, it took me about 40 minutes to do each one of those snowflakes, which felt like forever, and like I couldn't just sit down and whack them all out. I had to specifically take the time and focus. I couldn't be doing anything else. And I don't know, that pattern just wasn't as intuitive as the first one was for me. But I'm sure they're all going to be like that once I start getting up to 6, 7, 8 rounds on. I am so sorry. Begging, screaming, giggling. Daddy's playing with the babies. And they're right above me, because the living room is kind of... No, yeah, living room is basically right above me. Yeah. So that's it for what's on my needles, on my hooks. Moving on to pokey things. I have 2 things with some work on them. First is A Very Merry Christmas Town. Not a whole lot done. Didn't do... Hubby didn't do a whole lot of gaming, so we weren't down here much this week. I did get him a new game, which he doesn't exactly care for. So when we were at Best Buy this last weekend researching TVs, I was just like, hey, let's look back and see if there's a new game that would catch your eye. And I walked around the corner ahead of him, and here was a new Assassin's Creed game, and I was like, how do we not know there was a new Assassin's Creed game out? And it's Assassin's Creed Chronicles, and it's actually 3 smaller games. There wasn't a whole lot of information on the back. It's based on 3 different assassins, 3 different time periods. So it's more like mini games versus the huge, long, like hundreds of hours of play in a typical Assassin's Creed game. However, where a typical Assassin's Creed game is first-person perspective, so it's almost like you're standing behind your character so you can see what they're looking at. You can change perspective so you can see around you and everything too, but so it's more of a 3D, I don't want to call it a first-person shooter, but it's kind of that same perspective, but you can actually see your character in front of you instead of directly seeing out their eyes and just seeing over the barrel of your gun like you do in a first-person shooter, for those of you unfamiliar with video games. But you're still getting that first-person perspective. You can see what they're seeing. This one is not necessarily a 3D format like that. It's they called it a 2.5D. So it's done more like a scrolling platform game. So for those of you familiar with the old school Nintendo Super Mario Brothers where the screen was flat and you just could only move one direction, it's kind of like that. And that's not the style of game that hubby likes to play. So he got in there and he was like, oh. And he played part of the first game. Not very much of it. I'm not sure how many levels, but he made it through like the first level and a half and went, yeah, I'm done for tonight. And I was like, you're disappointed? And he goes, yeah, a little bit. But it's not just flat. Every so often it gives you the option to go back. And it's done almost in a painting style. So the first game takes place in China. I can't remember exactly what time period it is. So if you've seen older Chinese paintings in an exhibit or an art museum or online, wherever you've seen them, and that almost like brush stroke, that you can see the brush strokes through the whole thing, that's kind of how that looks, almost like you stepped into one of those paintings. It's pretty stylized, and I thought it looked beautiful, but hubby just wasn't used to the platform thing, so I don't know if he'll play that much more. I think the second game goes for right as the Bolsheviks are taking over. It's in Russia, overthrowing the Tsar and his family. So, and then the third one, I can't remember what the era is or where it's located. I want to say it's the early 1900s, but don't quote me on that. I can't remember. I know for sure the first one's China, the second one's Russia. Third one, I don't know. Can't remember. So it remains to be seen if hubby will be playing that game anymore, and if he does, I'll give you more updates. But in the meantime, so because he only played that one little chunk, all that I did on A Very Merry Christmas Town, see, bringing it back around to the crafting, is I finished the cross beams on the fence on this side, and I did that center tree there. That's all that I did. That's it. Bring it back so you can see in the light a little better. So yeah, this is progressing a little bit slow, but I did move the whole thing up in the hoop, so I'm ready to go on the whole scene down here at the bottom and have a little more play with where I'm going with it without running into my frame. So that's that for A Very Merry Christmas Town. I did get a little more done on Once Upon a Time as well, and these are both patterns from Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I'm still working on June, and I had finished the 3 bottom mattresses, so I'd gotten up to this blue one with the pink polka dots, so I did the green one, I did the side of this 5th one, got the pillow done, got that one little star / sparkle thing that's right under the moon, and that's it. I think that was one afternoon of nap time. Yeah. Nap time. So not a whole lot done on that. Hoping to get a little more done this week, but that remains to be seen. So that's it for the crafting. Moving on to various and sundry. Let's get the fun stuff done first. So hubby came in from getting the mail last night, and I had a package from Stacy from Tempted. Her club shipments for the Pamper Me Yarn and Fiber Clubs have been a little delayed due to family health issues, and then the death of her son-in-law from cancer, which I'm sorry, I'm going to come around and say this. Stacy, don't you dare apologize for any delay. If people don't understand, then they can come talk to me, and I will set them straight. This is going to be kind of the rant that I went on when people were giving Mel from Single Handed Knitter so much crap. Family comes first. I don't care if you run a business or what. If people can't understand that journey, then go away. that's, I'm, and that kind of, I'm going to show her stuff that came in a minute, but that kind of ties into another thing. Hubby just lost one of his grandmothers yesterday. So I'm not sure what's going to happen for this next week for the show. I don't know if we're going back for the funeral because it is our work weekend. I know hubby will get time off, but I don't think I will because she's not a direct family member for me. But either way, family is more important than everything. It's more important than yarn. It's more important than fiber. It's more important than a club that I'm sure, I know everyone paid good money for. I did too. I'm willing to wait because it's worth the wait. You need to take time to be with your family during times like this. So, rant over. Done. Let's get a drink and move on to the pretties, okay? I'm sorry, I probably just turned a whole bunch of people off to that, but that's my stance on things. So, what was inside that lovely, lovely Pamper Me? Stacy always does beautiful fiber. Beautiful. I love her fiber, and she always picks such wonderful blends, and the Pamper Me Club was meant to be luxury. So, this is 4 ounces of merino, silk, and yak. It's a 60-20-20 blend. So 60% merino, 20% silk, 20% yak. It's the colorway High Tide. It's almost like denim and khakis together to me. And it's so soft. Oh my gosh, and it smells so good. I didn't huff this last night. I don't know why, because I had such a bad day at work yesterday. I was late getting home, and I was just like, oh, it's pretty, and it's soft, and I have to remember to show it on the show, and I left it at that, and I don't know why I didn't sniff the fibery goodness. And you know what? The smell of it all comes from the lovely bath melts that they included this time, which I'm sure Stacy and her daughter Emily made. These are lavender and chamomile bath melts, and she included all the ingredients on them, which these are going in my bathroom immediately. I was going to put them away last night. They're in almost these like little reusable, they kind of remind me of the bags my coffee comes in. They have the little bendy thing on the one side. Pull one out here. And there's actual like chunks of lavender, and you can tell they made them in ice cube trays. But you know what, bath melt, oh, those ones are ice cube trays, but there's also, hang on, there's also little kisses. I hadn't even looked in here. Oh, Stacy, you're awesome. So yeah, these have shea butter, cocoa butter, beeswax, lemongrass essential oil, lavender essential oil, chamomile buds, and lavender buds in them. And I know Stacy and Emily probably contributed too, but Stacy for sure made these herself. So I will continue to sign up for Stacy's clubs because I signed up for, I was in a couple of the pinup clubs that she did. And just the care that she took to handwrite a note every time. She's not doing that with the Pamper Me clubs simply because of having to devote that extra time to her daughter and son-in-law while her son-in-law was going through his treatments, and that's perfectly understandable. But she took the time with those notes that she wrote from the pinup clubs to, I guess, cyberstalk all of us. And she had over 100 people in each club, I want to say, and she would take the time to find out something about you, about your life, and every note was personalized. It wasn't some just generic, thanks, hope you enjoy this month's club. It was, she would send me notes about the twins or about when hubby and I were getting married and how excited she was for us, and she couldn't believe it had already been however long since I'd driven down there, and we'd had a big girls' weekend, a bunch of us down at her house. So this is just like a huge hug from a friend, and I know I said that about the last one that came, but they always seem to be perfectly timed right after I have a really bad day at work. And even though those notes aren't there, it's still like Stacy's here with me. And you have never met a sweeter person. She is wonderful. If you don't know Stacy, she is the owner and dyer of Tempted Yarns. go check her out. Her yarns are wonderful. Her fibers are amazing. So yeah, that's the Pamper Me Fiber Club. What else? Oh, hang on. I'm just going to turn the camera because I don't know how long I've been recording. I don't want to have happen. Okay, we're going to skip any questions. I'm sorry for the sudden movement. We're going to skip any questions this week just because I'm already at 25 minutes, and I've discovered if I go over 30 minutes, the computer has a problem compressing the file down small enough for Podcast Garden to play nice to send it to iTunes. I'm very sorry. Excuse me. I'm very sorry about a couple weeks ago. I still cannot get it will only let me compress the file twice, and the file is not small enough to be accepted on Podcast Garden, and I don't know what else to do to get it over on iTunes. So if you're missing episode 235, it's on YouTube. It's up on the blog, which is roundthetwistwithkaren.blogspot.com, or you can go over to the Ravelry board and follow the link there, and it will take you to the blog so you can see that episode. So we're going to skip any questions this week, and just let you know I'm not sure what this next few days is going to bring, if we're all going to be able to drive back to Nebraska to attend Grandma's funeral or not. I want to at least try to get hubby back there, but I'm leaving that up to him. So we'll see what this next week holds. I will record next Wednesday no matter what. But the content might be a little, actually, if I end up going back with him, the content might be a little bit more, because we'll have about 9 hours on the road each direction. So we'll see. And until next week, everybody, happy knitting.